if you'd like to try a simple 5-minute mindful art activity to de-stress, I'm excited to share a really simple practice, draw your emotions, as well as some writing prompts. Today is day 12 of our 30-day art challenge. If you're just now arriving, you can download the free calendar below to follow along and watch the other videos. We'll dive right in, and if this is your first time here to the channel, my name is Cynthia with Mindful Creative Muse. We share creative and calming practices to help you de-stress and express yourself with art at home. Okay, let's dive right in. To begin this draw your emotions exercise, we first want to pause and notice any sensations in our body. Noticing any emotions you might feel. And then asking yourself the question, if these emotions had a color or a shape, what would that look like? You may want to pause the video and give yourself a little bit of space to tune into this for yourself in this moment. And also knowing that whatever comes to you is just an invitation to begin making marks on the page. So giving yourself permission to make marks and choose colors and shapes and play. And knowing that as you're making your draw your emotions picture here, that your emotions might continue to change as you create your picture. I'll be sharing some journaling prompts later in the video as well that will help us to make some meaning of the marks that we're making. For now, the invitation is to just tune in and be present with, again, the sensations in your body and any emotions that you may notice. Sometimes emotions can be difficult to put into words as well. And so if you struggle with this at all, I often will invite you to simply choose a color that is speaking to you the most right now. You don't need to understand that. It can just be something that is sort of calling out to you that you're most curious to use, perhaps that color green or purple, that particular paint, or if you're using ink, whatever materials are calling out to you. Oftentimes beginning can be one of the hardest steps. A lot of times staring at a blank page or a blank canvas can feel intimidating. And so again, the invitation is to give yourself permission to make marks and play. So I love to get color on the page as quickly as possible. It'll be either a color that I sensed into regarding an emotion I was feeling, or a color I'm feeling really drawn to. And then I quickly get that on the page. And as I'm starting to make marks, allow myself to then notice what other shapes or colors come to mind, as well as continually tuning back in. So this draw your emotions exercise is a simple mindful art activity. And it's largely around allowing yourself to be curious about the sensations you notice in your body, about the emotions that you notice coming up and arising. So it is similar to a form of art meditation. It's combining art and mindfulness, so being present with what's arising in each moment. And oftentimes it's like clouds floating through the sky. So those thoughts or emotions or sensations we're having will continue to float through and change as we are creating our draw your emotions picture here. So simply making marks and noticing your emotions as they come up. And if you ever notice your inner critic coming in and being judgmental about what you're making, or if you get distracted and start sort of thinking about the marks that you want to make, just again, returning back to those sensations. So similar to our breath in meditation, it's an anchor point. So instead of focusing on the breath here as we're drawing and drawing our emotions, we're instead using the anchor point of what am I feeling in my body? What are my emotions right now? And do those emotions that I'm feeling have a color or a shape, an expression that I want to use on the page? So I'll be sharing a few different journaling prompts that are really lovely to use once you've spent a few minutes drawing your emotions here. You're welcome to write that journaling on a separate piece of paper. You can always write the words that come up on your picture as well. So similar to an affirmation or having words on the page. So that's entirely up to you. And you can also come back and return to your picture maybe a week later and use these same prompts and notice what arises for you then. So this can be a really interesting way to check in with yourself. You can also do this practice daily. So the journaling prompts are going to be kind of fill in the blank. So you're finishing these sentences and prompts. So I'll be sharing just a few words and then whatever comes to mind. So it's like free writing or stream of consciousness. We're allowing the words to fill on the page without judgment, without editing, or without having an internal censor. So it's nice to write this also as quickly as possible. So we're not spending too much time thinking about the prompts. And again, so our mind and our thoughts don't sort of get in the way as we are working on this. So the first prompt here is I see. I see. And you can simply name something visual that you see in your image. So for me in this image, I'm seeing flowers, I'm seeing rivers and paths, I'm seeing a vase. So you can begin there. And then as you are naming things that you see visually, then it might start to arise something else within you. And so you can allow that to kind of unfold naturally as it does. Again, we're not trying to force anything. This is totally for us and there's no right or wrong way. So you can just give yourself permission to then vary off of what you see there. The next prompt is I feel. So I feel. And what you may begin to notice is that as you're writing, you've named things you see in your picture. You might be naming things you're feeling that come to mind that were emotions that you began with as you began this Draw Your Emotions exercise. Also what you are feeling now as you look back at your image that you created. So that prompt again is I feel. And you might go off on a tangent. You might start expressing something you're feeling that may seemingly have nothing to do with this moment and with this image. And so again, just giving yourself permission to allow any of that to unfold. And then this next prompt here is I wonder. I wonder. Being curious again and allowing that exploration through words of exploring I wonder to take you on a journey. So it might be something you wonder about this image. It might be, again, something in your life that might be seemingly unrelated. You might notice the threads of that connection very easily. So we're not really trying to understand necessarily. We're just opening a doorway. We're giving an invitation to be curious. And these prompts can help as creative limitations to express ourselves instead of a complete blank page in our journal or a complete blank canvas. The last prompt here is the message I have for you is. The message I have for you is. So this is pulled from, I'm a soul collage facilitator. This is pulled from that practice. And it's a lovely way to allow the image to then now speak to us, to return a gift or a message. The message I have for you is, and allowing our internal wisdom and intuition to unfold here, again, without that judgment and just being curious to see what arises. So I'd love for you to share anything that came up for you in comments. I hope you enjoyed the simple mindful art activity to draw your emotions. I'd love to hear in the comments below if you've done a similar practice, if you're aware of other writing prompts, or if you struggled with anything. That way we can support each other in comments. If this video was inspirational or supportive for you at all, please like it. That lets me know to make more like this. And if you're ready to dive into another video, you can click one of these links here.